You are not anxious because something went wrong. You are anxious because, for a long time, staying on alert was the smartest thing you could do. Today we're going to talk about a very rare and rarely discussed form of intelligence. Imagine a 7-year-old child. It's late afternoon. She's sitting on the bedroom floor. It looks like she's playing. She's not. She's listening. The sound of the key in the lock. The weight of footsteps in the hallway. The tone of the first sentence that will be spoken. She learned, without anyone ever teaching her, that the next 10 seconds will define the next few hours, and depending on what she feels right now, she'll need to disappear, or smile, or become invisible. She doesn't know this has a name. She doesn't know it's sophisticated survival. She only knows it works. That when she pays attention to the right signals, she can avoid what comes next. That child grew up, became an adult, has a job, relationships, a normal life. But the system she built never shut down. It only became more sophisticated, more invisible, more confused with personality. Today, that person reads emotions before a single word is spoken, anticipates conflict with supernatural precision, takes care of everyone, but freezes when someone tries to take care of her, functions well under pressure, but can't rest when everything is fine. People call her strong, intuitive, reliable. She accepts it, but she knows that what they admire in her was born in a place that hurts. This has a name: traumatic intelligence. Psychology rarely talks about it. It doesn't show up in tests. It has no prize. It's born where childhood wasn't safe, in homes with unpredictability, absence, pressure, or violence. It's the most powerful resource you have, and the most invisible weight you carry. I'm going to show you 12 signs that you have it. But there's one thing almost no one notices, and I'll get there. Sign 1. The guilt that isn't yours. The first sign lives in your relationship with responsibility. You tend to take on blame easily, sometimes for things that are clearly not your fault. A meeting that went badly, you analyze what you could have done differently. A relationship that ended, you spend more time examining your mistakes than the other person's. This isn't humility. It's a learned response from environments where taking the blame reduced conflict. The child who thinks, if I behave better, things at home will improve, is doing exactly that, controlling what they can when the environment is uncontrollable. The adult who still does this has forgotten that the environment changed. Sign 2. The people reader. The second sign is that you read people with a disturbing precision. It's not sympathy. It's not ordinary empathy. It's a surgical ability to perceive someone's emotional state through their posture, their word choices, their breathing rhythm. You know when someone is angry but pretending to be calm. You sense when a compliment is hiding a criticism. You pick up on dissatisfaction before it's ever voiced. This isn't a spiritual gift. It's the result of years interpreting signals in environments where reading them wrong had real consequences. Sign 3. The conflict radar. The third sign lives in your relationship with conflict. You detect it before it exists. A slightly colder text message, a glance that lasted 1 second less than usual, a tone of voice that shifted imperceptibly. And you're already on high alert, already calculating, already preparing. People who live or work with you sometimes think you're dramatic, that you see problems where there are none. What they don't understand is that you were trained, through real experience, to never let the problem reach you. There's something no one tells you about this ability to anticipate conflict. It isn't paranoia, it's memory. The human nervous system learns through repetition. If for years the absence of a signal meant something bad was about to happen, the nervous system records that as a pattern and starts reacting to the pattern, not the event. The problem is that adult life has a different texture than childhood. and the system still reacts as if the danger were the same. Sign 4. The inability to rest. The fourth sign is that you have a real difficulty resting. I'm not talking about insomnia. I'm talking about an inability to feel truly safe when things are going well. When everything is calm, a part of you waits for the next impact. You can't simply enjoy a peaceful stretch of time because your system learned that calm is temporary and that it's better to stay ready. Psychology has a specific name for this: hypervigilance. And it isn't weakness. It's the system working exactly the way it was programmed to work. Sign 5. Giving is easy, receiving is dangerous. The fifth sign is that you are exceptionally good at taking care of others, but struggle to receive care. You know what people need. You anticipate needs, solve problems before they're asked, offer support with a generosity people rarely see in anyone else. But when someone tries to take care of you, when someone approaches with genuine attention, with real presence, something in you resists. You change the subject, minimize what you feel, say you're fine when you're not because you're proud, but because depending on someone, at some point in your story, wasn't safe. Think about it. If the people who were supposed to be your safe harbor were also a source of unpredictability, what did you learn about intimacy? You learned that being close means being vulnerable, that accepting help means creating a debt, that needing someone is a form of exposure. So you became self-sufficient, not by philosophical choice, but out of necessity. And you carry that as a virtue when, in truth, it's a scar. Sign 6. The fear that good things won't last. The sixth sign is that you have a complicated relationship with success. Not with failure, with success. When things go right, you can't simply celebrate. You're already thinking about the next problem, already waiting for the moment everything falls apart, already preparing to lose what you just gained. Viktor Frankl observed that human beings can endure almost any suffering when they find meaning in it. But what he didn't say is that some people have learned to find more meaning in suffering than in joy, because suffering is at least familiar. Joy has the texture of the unexpected, and the unexpected, in your story, was rarely good. Sign 7. The solitary processing. The seventh sign is that you process things alone before talking about them, sometimes so alone that by the time you're ready to speak, the moment has already passed. You don't share in the heat of emotion. You wait, organize, weigh, and then decide whether it's worth bringing up. Most of the time, you decide it isn't. From the outside, this looks like emotional maturity. From the inside, it's isolation. It's a child who learned that expressing what they felt created more problems than it solved. Sign 8. The invisible pain threshold. The eighth sign is that you have a very high pain threshold, physical and emotional. You endure a great deal before asking for help. You endure a great deal before recognizing that something is wrong. People around you are sometimes surprised by how much you carry without apparently breaking. What they don't see is the internal cost. The body holds what the mind learns to ignore. And here we reach the point that changes everything. What almost no one notices about traumatic intelligence. These 8 signs, and the 4 that follow, are not character flaws. They are not personality failures. They are solutions. Solutions that a developing mind created to survive an environment that demanded more than any child should ever have to give. The problem isn't that you develop these responses. The problem is that you keep them active in an environment that no longer requires them. It's like wearing war gear in peacetime. Not because you're violent, but because no one ever taught you to take the armor off. Sign 9. The amplified sensitivity. The 9th sign is that you have a deeply heightened aesthetic or emotional sensitivity. To music, to stories, to art, to other people's pain. You cry at films others think don't deserve tears. You feel people's pain as if it were your own. You are moved by beauty in a way that seems disproportionate. This happens because the nervous system calibrated to feel threats with intensity also feels everything else with that same intensity. Hypervigilance doesn't discriminate. It amplifies everything. Sign 10, the gift of adaptation. The 10th sign lives in your capacity to adapt. You enter new environments and quickly learn the unwritten rules. You sense what's expected of you and adjust your behavior with a speed that the people around you notice but rarely know how to put into words. You are a chameleon, not because you're fake, but because surviving in unpredictable environments required you to learn how to fit in before being rejected. Sign 11, the incredibly rich inner world. The 11th sign is that you have very vivid dreams, a very rich imagination, or a tendency to build complex inner worlds. The mind that couldn't escape the physical environment created an internal space where there was control, beauty, and possibility. For many people with traumatic intelligence, the inner life is richer than anything the outside world offered for a long time. Sign 12, the love that must be earned. The 12th sign is the hardest to see. You believe you need to earn love, not receive love, earn it. You operate with the belief, often unconscious, that affection is conditional, that presence must be won, that you need to keep being useful, competent, pleasant, strong, or the person will leave. This belief didn't come from nowhere. It came from real experiences where the love you received was in fact conditioned on behavior, performance, and the absence of conflict. Now, what do you do with all of this? Not a list of steps, not a 5-point protocol to heal trauma. What to do is exactly what you're already doing in this moment. See. Name what had no name, because traumatic intelligence stays powerful precisely when it remains invisible, when you confuse your defenses with your identity, when you think the armor is you, not something you built to protect yourself. You don't need to dismantle what you learned. You need to understand when it's serving you and when it's sabotaging you. The same ability to read people that protected you can prevent you from trusting someone who deserves your trust. The same self-sufficiency that brought you this far can leave you alone when you need someone the most. The cost of ignoring this isn't abstract. It's paid in relationships that never become what they could, in joys that can't quite settle in a life that functions but rarely rests. The child who learned to read silence did what she had to do. She survived, and the intelligence she developed is real, is valuable, is powerful. But she's 30 years old now, and the silence she reads is no longer the same. It's time to let the present be louder than the past.